this distinction between two different kinds of subjectivity, or for that matter, two different kinds of objectivity. I took this slide out. It's probably still in if you printed these out. But Searle's general point here is that the physical sciences, physics, chemistry, biology, and all of that, are sciences that are concerned with observer-independent facts. The speed of light would be the speed of light if nobody had ever measured it. Okay, that's just true. Planets would go around stars. Nobody ever observed that or whatever. And then there are these observer-dependent facts, and they're really not the product of the province of the physical sciences. Really, the social sciences are all about observer-dependent facts about the world. And for my money, one of the things that makes psychology such an interesting and uniquely interesting science, and everybody should major in it, is that psychology is both a biological science concerned with observer-independent facts about how brains operate, I suppose, and also a social science that's concerned with observer-dependent facts about what people think and what people feel and what people want. No other science really has that quality to it. Sociology, way over on the observer-dependent side. Biophysics, way over on the observer-independent side. Psychology is stuck right there in the middle in this very, very, very cool and very, very challenging place. Quick question?
Yeah, what about the theory of relativity and Schrodinger and all that?
Well,
how does he do it?
you're talking to somebody who got a D and a C in physics. So I'm probably not the best person to ask about that. But even the theory of relativity is concerned with observer-independent facts about the world, okay? Now, you can say that, well, the act of observation interferes with the thing you're observing, okay? And that's true. That's kind of sort of what the theory of relativity is all about. But nobody doubts that there's a thing out there to be observed, okay? Whether there's an observer or not, that thing is out there. So that even then, you're talking about an observer-independent fact. Okay, so the basic question, as Searle puts it, is consciousness is ontologically subjective. It exists only by virtue of being experienced. And the challenge for a course like this, or for anybody who wants to try to develop a scientific approach to consciousness, is how in the world are you going to create an observer-independent set of facts about an observer-dependent set of things, okay? How are you going to get an objective science out of consciousness? How are you going to get epistemically objective knowledge about the way the mind works, about objectively, about ontologically subjective phenomena of the mind? And some people say, well, you really can't do that, so what you really ought to do is get rid of the mental. The behaviorists tried that, and certain philosophers, who shall go nameless until next week, try to do that. So that's the whole program of neural or physical reductionism. But we're not going to do that at the moment. We're not going to do that at all, frankly. What we're going to try to do is to see how it is that we can develop epistemically objective knowledge about ontologically subjective phenomena, because that's really the challenge for us here. And Searle notes that's really what psychology tries to do. And for that matter, that's what other sciences like psychology, like neurology or cognitive science or even cognitive neuroscience really tries to do, because the subject matter really for all these fields are people's states of mind and how their minds work. So let's take one example. People brought up synesthesia before. Let's look at synesthesia for a moment. Synesthesia is a phenomenon where a stimulation in one modality produces a sensation in another modality. People will say they hear colors, okay, or they see different kinds of tones or whatever. And there's now emerging a very interesting literature on this. But the basic question I want to entertain in the last couple of minutes here is, how would we know when somebody comes up to you and says, the number 2, that's green, okay? Or the letter A, that's purple, okay? That's what the kind of thing that synesthetics will say. They say, whenever I see the number 2, I see it as green. That is a statement about a person's private experience of this number or letter. How would we know that that's the case? Here's an example, an early example of the synesthete. This is a person known in the literature as subject C, a woman who, whenever she sees or hears or thinks about digits or whatever, always thinks about them in particular kinds of colors. Those are the digit color correspondences for subject C. Here are 2 others studied by Ramachandran in San Diego and his student Eddie Hubbard. Always loved this experiment because Hubbard was an undergraduate here at Berkeley. He's actually took this course the first time I offered it when I came to Berkeley. Went on to study with Ramachandran, and then he's now a professor at University of Wisconsin. So there is a future for people who take a course like this. Okay. In any event, they got their hands on 2 synesthetic subjects, one who experienced colors for both digits and letters, and one who experienced colors for digits only, not letters, and used some interesting experimental tests to try to get a hold of exactly what was going on with these people. One of the tests they used was a visual grouping task, where they would present the subjects with an array like this, and then simply ask them, well, are these digits arranged horizontally or vertically? Who says they're arranged horizontally? Who says they're arranged vertically? Okay. Well, it's not easy to figure this out, although the 3s and 8s kind of look similar enough so that by principles of Gestalt grouping, most people tend to see these digits as arranged horizontally. But remember, these synesthetes are color digit synesthetes, okay? So when they look at these arrays, what they see is 8s and 0s might share a color, 3s and 7s share a color. So the subject ER, in fact, has that correspondence so that ER would respond that this array takes the form of columns, not rows in this perceptual grouping test. It is the fact that the person sees these digits in color that allows them to group the digits that particular way. And again, what you can see here is when the colors differ in red and green, you get these very big differences between the synesthetes and controls. Here's another example. I want to do this before I go on. There's a detection task. Raise your hand when you find the digit 2. Okay? All right, that's pretty good. Okay. Notice anything else? Keep it to yourself. Good. Okay, now, if you're a synesthete, okay, they pop out, okay, because those digits appear in quite a different color, and you notice that there's a triangle. By using tasks like this, Ramachandran and Hubbard hope to understand what it is that synesthetes really see and answer the first question, do they really see things like that? Or is it just some kind of associative thing? These individuals really do see the world in a color in a way that the rest of us don't. Okay? Next time, we'll look more at phenomena like this and try to get back to attack the basic problem of the qualitative nature of experience. Thank you very much.